Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. And if it's your first time here, I'm Janetta, an author who loves to draw. On my channel, I focus on combining storytelling with art. If that's something you're interested in, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let's get to it. SSMD, So It Begins, Chapter 25, Apologies. Eva. Well, Mr. Benz asked me. Well, what? I asked him. I'm still waiting for you to apologize. He pointed down to where I had splashed him earlier. I don't know what it was about him that rubbed me the wrong way. He seemed arrogant and a bit too much for my liking. Oh well, let me not keep you waiting. I apologize for splashing you, even though you deserve it for being a rude a-hole. Wow, really? That's how you're going to apologize? He frowned down at me, and I frowned right back at him. It's the only one you're going to get, I said and walked away. Nice to meet you too, he called after me. Thanks for the warm welcome to the neighborhood. Anytime, I said, without so much as a look back at him. Sharon. Sharon followed Philip into the house. She had reached her limit. Get out, she hollered. What? Philip turned around. He looked pointedly into the family room where the kids and his mother sat watching television. I said, get out. Go find that attorney you said you were leaning towards instead of a marriage counselor, and let's get the ball rolling. I have had enough of you walking around here like I'm the one who hurt you and not vice versa. Now go get your stuff and get out of this house. Philip saw in her eyes that he had pushed her too far. Slow down, Sharon. I didn't mean what I said earlier. I was just talking out of frustration. Too late for a comeback, Philip. I have made up my mind. Go get your stuff and get out. We are done. And where do you suggest I go? He said angrily. Did you really leave me that opening? Where do you think I suggest you go? Do you really need me to say it? Calm down, Sharon. Don't make a decision you may regret while you are angry. I apologize for what I said earlier and the mistake I made that led us here. Now I'm asking you to calm down and think about what you're saying before making this decision. If after you calm down you feel the same, then so be it. But don't be hasty and throw our marriage away. Mom, please don't kick Dad out. PJ rushed over to her with tears in his eyes. It was his tears and not Philip's words that made her back down, at least for now. Fine, you don't have to go today. PJ, help me to the guest room. I need to rest for a while. When she walked past Philip, she looked him dead in the eyes, and they told him loud and clear that she had enough and he was on his way out. Leah. I'm sorry, Mario, but it's just not the right time for me to take this chance. Don't apologize to me. You are the one who's going to regret never going after your dream. Look, before you say no, think about what is actually keeping you from trying. You say money, but you just paid off your car, and we're thinking about getting a new one. How can you afford that and not afford your dream? That's different. The only difference is it is outside of your comfort zone. Look, don't say no until you thought about what yes would really mean to you. Can you promise me that? Leah smiled. I promise. He pulled her into his arms and kissed her forehead. That's my girl. Chapter 26. Saturday Madness. Leah. Leah entered Alana's cafe early Saturday morning. She agreed to meet with Alana and discuss partnering with her in the business. Although she had been there before, today she entered with a critical eye. She noticed that although the place had lots of outside light, the decor was pale and drab. Leah, I'm glad you could make it. Alana spotted her and came from behind the counter to greet her. Always warm and friendly, Alana welcomed her with a big hug. Come, let me give you a tour of the place before we go to my office and talk. She grabbed her hand and led her around the counter. She introduced her to the two young ladies working behind the counter before saying, You've already seen the front of the place. Let me take you through the kitchen so you can see where all the love is made. While the front of the house was drab, the kitchen was full of life. Alana had certainly put her focus and funds on the kitchen. All the cookware and appliances were top of the line, and everyone working had smiles to share. Leah liked everyone's energy immediately and found they had a synergy that had their food service running seamlessly. After Alana introduced her to everyone, She led her to the office to talk. It was apparent by the mismatched office desk and chair and beat up file cabinets that the office hadn't received much, if any, of Alana's attention. Mario tells me that you've dreamed of opening your own bakery. For me, I've always wanted to open my own restaurant. The cafe is my dream come true, and though it has caused me to sacrifice a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I can honestly say I don't ever regret deciding to go for it. Why are you looking for a partner? Leah didn't want to sign on to a sinking ship. Like I was saying before, I have sacrificed a lot to keep this place running. I'm looking for someone who will help me increase business and take on some of the responsibilities so that I can go after another one of my dreams before it's too late. Do you mind if I ask what dream? Leah couldn't curb her curiosity. I want children, Alana admitted. Oh, I didn't realize you were married, Leah said. Alana sighed. I'm not, and while I would love to wait for Mr. Right to come along, the clock is ticking. That was a rather naive thing for me to say anyway. I mean, in this day and age, I shouldn't assume you have to be married to have children. The conversation placed another concern in Leah's mind. Alana was only 6 years older than her. Would she have to sacrifice her relationship with Mario and possibly the chance to have children of her own to follow this dream? Eva. Saturday morning was normally a quiet, peaceful time for me. However, the sound of men hollering to one another stole my expected peace and quiet. Mr. Benz, I said through gritted teeth. I tossed the covers off and slipped on my slippers. I rushed out my room and ran down the stairs to the living room window. Just as I suspected, all the ruckus was coming from Mr. Benz's property. Apparently, it was moving day for him, and he didn't care that he was disturbing everyone Saturday morning. He didn't care that I hadn't planned to even get up until the day was half over. Now I had an entire day to be miserable. I grabbed a long coat out of my closet and threw it on. Without thinking, I rushed out of my front door and crossed the lawn onto his property. Excuse me, I said to one of the guys unloading the huge moving truck. Can you tell me where I can find the owner of the house? The guy looked over his shoulder and did a double take. I'm sure I looked ridiculous with my bed hair and a trench coat with slippers, but I didn't care. Give me a minute and I'll grab him for you. He picked up a chair as if it was a paperweight and carried it into the house. I saw Mr. Benz look out the window. The curse word he uttered when he saw me was easy to read from his lips. Today he was casually dressed in a t-shirt, running pants, and gym shoes. And damn it, if he still didn't look good. He walked over to me. Look, Eva, I am not in the mood for your drama queen ways today. I only have today to get my stuff moved in before I leave on a business trip. So, whatever it is you have to gripe about, you're going to have to save it until later. He didn't give me a chance to respond. He walked around me to the truck. He pulled a large box out and carried it into the house. In a huff, I crossed the lawn back to my place and was horrified when I tried to turn the knob and it didn't budge. I had locked myself out. I crossed back over the lawn and approached another one of the movers. Excuse me, do you have a cell phone I could use? I've accidentally locked myself out my place next door. Of course. He reached in his pocket and was just about to hand me his cell phone when Mr. Benz arrived on the scene. Hold off, Lim. This is a hostile neighbor I was telling you about. I think maybe we could use a little help getting the stuff in the house before we help her back into her place. Are you freaking serious? What makes you think I will help you move anything? I'll just go to one of the neighbors and ask to use their phone. Well, don't let us stop you. I'm sure you've made a lot of friends and know all the neighbors with that pleasant attitude of yours. I looked down the neighborhood and tried to remember the names of the other neighbors. I've been there a year, and they had introduced themselves. But somewhere down the line, I lost their names and started exchanging generic hellos and goodbyes. I know the neighbors, I said. Is that so? Then why don't you know Lynn, who lives across the street? I looked over at Lynn for confirmation, and he nodded. The wife and I moved in 3 months ago. This truly was a day I should have stayed in bed. Hope you enjoyed today's story. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be and stay blessed.